Welcome to Truth by Billie Beene Flash Update. Today's date, April 16, 2025, time in Texas, about 7 a.m. So we had a G1 to a G2 geomagnetic storm, April 14 to 15. We did have auroras in high latitudes, and it's believed none down into the U.S. According to EARTHMASTER, there were some conditions that suppressed auroras down into the U.S. Now, it's expected today, April 16, another CME, possibly giving us a G3 geomagnetic storm and possibly a KP index of 7. So we may see auroras tonight in the high latitude North U.S. And now we turn to a sad story. We want to say rest in peace to U.S. military soldiers who were killed in a car accident. A third soldier is in the hospital in critical condition. These soldiers were assigned along the border of California, Arizona, New Mexico. The accident took place along the border with New Mexico and Texas, just west of Fort Bliss, Texas. The soldiers have not been identified yet, and this happened yesterday about 8:50 a.m. Mountain Time. Texas, we're so big, we have 2 time zones. So right along this edge of Texas, we're in Mountain Time. So this happened yesterday. The military is announcing it. And it happened near Santa Teresa, New Mexico. The soldiers were in a civilian vehicle. They were not in a U.S. military armored striker vehicle. No other details are coming out about the accident or whether there was another vehicle involved, and no identity for the soldiers. So our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends of the 2 who have passed, and our prayers go for the healing of this third soldier who's in critical condition. So that happened. And we have this from Hal Turner. And a senior Chinese official calls the American people peasants, who this senior Chinese official said American citizens are peasants who will wail, cry in front of the 5,000 years of Chinese civilization. I've got this to say: China is falling off an economic cliff, and this is being brought about by our brilliant President Trump in a successful economic war against China. WERX verifies there are now in China thousands of what are called ghost ships. They're ships just waiting to get an order. But those orders are not coming in since President Trump began the first assault in the U.S. tariff war. And President Trump, according to Breitbart, has reached the highest level of approval for this second formal term. He's now at 54% approval by all American people. And we have this about China. Yesterday, Judge Napolitano interviewed Pepe Escobar. He's a globally famous journalist who's very familiar with China, and I believe he was broadcasting from China. And he said of China, now this is a China that's calling American citizens peasants. Pepe Escobar says China is not a warrior nation. But we know that America certainly is. And we have this. PINBALL is also talking about the brilliant tariff war President Trump is bringing up against China. And last night, the yuan, the Chinese currency, hit its all-time low, and that's being brought about by market forces. And Chinese banks are predicting the GDP for China in 2025 will fall off of a cliff as a result of the tariff war. So that's going on. See, President Trump knows what he's doing. We have this. I have several developing stories. One is President Trump to do an executive order to get the U.S. out of all globalist organizations, including NATO and UN, and also to accept an offer from President Putin for the rare earth minerals in Ukraine, and President Trump would simply ditch Zelensky. These are developing stories. And we have this from DURAN in Germany. Metz, who wants to take German troops into Ukraine to fight Russia, has now taken all debt consideration off of the German economy. He is to soon be inaugurated as the chancellor and name his 7 ministers, including finance and defense. And he wants to remove the strong conservative Citizen Party in any way that he can. And he wants to lead Europe into war with Russia. So that's going on. I say to WERX, wait a little bit for President Trump to get us out of NATO. And we have this. Yeah, President Trump's approval rating is climbing up with the American people. So it's good to be in prayer for America, President Trump, the U.S. military, and world peace. I love you, and I'll see you soon.